Hello everyone, this is me, Altar of Wisdom. If you're like me and you hate drawing volume shape on and using your mouse and drawing things and dragging and pressing keys and shaping curves and adjusting point and all of that, then you're probably gonna love this video because in this video I'm presenting my new device, BaGate, which proposes to expedite this kind of cumbersome activities and help you do volume shaping without the hassle of drawing everything manually. So let's get onto it. Okay, let's give a try on this project. So I'm gonna deactivate all the plugins and just skip the raw sound so we're gonna have a listen. There we go. I'm gonna play them in solo. There's this one. So here we have a serum. Oh, sorry. So here we have a basic serum sound. It's actually some kind of noise with a phaser on it. Let's open it to see what it does. Yeah, can we hear the phaser? Then what do we have? We have a diva patch. Pretty powerful. We have a Fossion. Then a serum squelsh. Not much happening, just filter cutoff. And finally, some kind of sample and hold FM sound. So nothing fancy. So let's start by having a look at the interface of the BaGate. Yeah, that's a bit big. So this is what you get when you just load it. This section is where the actual shapes are created and drawn. Here is the envelope settings, because like phase, time division, and things like smoothing up and smoothing down to avoid having clicks. Then this is the intensity and filter range of frequency for the volume shaping, and then you have the mod shaper, which does exactly the same, but it allows you to mod shape instead of volume shape. You can have both. And finally, you have a gain at the end, and there you have quite few other things. Here's the visualization where you can have a look at the actual sound passing through the envelope, the input, the output, and even the sidechain, because you're gonna see that we can even use a sidechain to trigger the envelope. And then you have the pattern manager, which allows you to actually export or import these shapes if you want to use them somewhere else, or if you have a bunch. Of course, the plugin is provided with a few predefined shapes, but you're gonna see that's I mean, it's a bit useful, but you can do a lot of shapes already. So let's have a better look at this section. First, you can change light width if it's for some reason you don't see well. What you see is you see two things. You see these are the shapes in white, and at the back of them you have these red bars, which actually are the actual values which have been loaded into the device. But as you can see, for example, here, the level of the shape is not the same level as the bar because of the quantize. So you can quantize the values so they match. So if I unquantize, then of course my peaks here, they perfectly follow the red lines. But if I start quantizing, then it's just 1 or 0. So anything which is above half is going to be rounded to 1, and anything below would be rounded to 0. And I can do things more or less precise. So as I increase the quantize level, then I'm closer to my initial volumes. Let's get back to 3, which was I think the values that we had. Then we have a few things like divided by 2 or multiplied by 2, which allows to duplicate the shape, and so make it twice as long. So 16 steps shape would be 32, or divided by 2, so it's actually killing the second half and just keeping the beginning. And that's pretty much it. The thing which is here blinking is explaining you where you have to go. Hold shift to select a shape. So actually you use your keyboard, and if you press shift, the shapes menu will appear here. So here I can choose which shape I want to draw. So like, there's quite a lot of them. So let's say I want to do like this thing. So I click on it, I release shift, and then if I click on one of these steps, I'm gonna actually draw this shape directly on that step. So you see that my level is following. So I can change the shape. Let's say I want to do another one. I was going to do a triangle. And of course I can do that on several steps at the same time, like this. So I can draw easily if I want to start over with basic shapes like that. Then I'm just using the row shapes. And you see that some of the points are actually not moving. And we're going to see that later. It's because they are actually frozen steps. They somehow are protected against modifications by the software. But again, there's another point. If I press shift again, you see that on the left there is this lock element which allows you to whether lock the levels or the shapes. It means that if I lock the levels, then I can change the shape. Let's say I'm going to use this one, and if I change this, no matter what I do, I will draw the same level. I mean, it won't acknowledge the level change, only the shape change. Oppositely, if I lock the shape but not the level, I can select another shape, and I'm gonna keep this rectangle, and I can only change the level of this rectangle. It's very practical if you want to just make some volume modification. You just lock the shapes, and then you only shape actually the level of sounds, but you keep the same groove. It's really interesting. The next step will be something that I'll keep for later. It's actually randomizing this shape, because as I told you, I don't like drawing things. So it's up to the point that I don't want to have to choose the shapes. I don't want to choose a level. So if I just press on this, it's going to generate one of this sequence. And I can either use all the shapes which are already in this area. So any of this shape will be used. Or I can use only the current shape. It means that if I select, let's say, this shape, it's going to generate, but only using that shape. Of course, if the shapes are locked, then if I press random, the shape won't change. They will stay the same, but only the volumes will change. Oppositely, if I lock the levels and unlock the shape, then I'm going to use current shape, so I'm going to apply this exact shape everywhere, but I will keep the level. It's like applying one shape to all the steps at once. Then let's get on to the actual big thing, which is the zoom envelope, because this is okay-ish, but it's not as convenient because the window is quite small, it's the device. So let's open the zoom envelope. As you can see there, it's the exact representation of what we already had, with a few more things, namely there's snowflakes here, which actually meant what they do. They actually freeze steps. So any steps which is frozen can't be modified. So if I click there, I want to change. If I press on shift, I'm gonna pop up the menu exactly where my mouse is, which is pretty convenient. So I'm gonna try to push this thing, and I can do it here. It's not frozen, so I can do that. Oh, maybe I didn't. Let's go. So it's actually working there. But if I try on this one, it won't work because it's frozen. There's a trick. I mean, if it's displayed here, but there's a trick. We're using shift. I just open that pop-up. If I hover on the step on the snowflake and press option, then I can just by moving my mouse, I can unlock a row of snowflakes. So if I just press here Alt, I can do the opposite. It's pretty convenient if you want to lock or unlock several steps at the same time. But you have to be on the snowflake to press Alt. Of course, you can freeze everything or unfreeze everything if you want to. All right. Pretty simple. Then you have the same types of parameters plus the oscilloscope, which in that case is showing on top of the shape. So you can show the envelope. So we have the levels and the shapes. You can have the live envelopes, which means that you will see the envelope with its actual phase and with the smoothing of it. So we'll see what actually is being used from an audio standpoint. You can as well see the input and output. There is nothing here. You can change the zoom of them if they are too small or too big. You can split them, which means that it's going to display on the upper half the output and on the lower half the input. It's sometimes convenient to have both, but we'll see that later. And of course, you can change all the colors. You can freeze the whole oscilloscope, and you can select which colors you want to. So let's say I'm gonna reset all the colors, because I think by default they are not at the right position. So I reset the colors, and now I got something. Let's change the sliders. So as you see, we can change the color of the sliders and as well the opacity. So they are more or less opaque. Let's say I want to do that like an orange, nice orange, somewhere like this, and maybe a little bit less visible. And there we go. So let's just try on this thing. I'm just only playing this track, and let's have a listen. So I'm gonna activate the input and output. So they are on top of each other. Let's say the input, I'm gonna change the color so we see it better. So that's input in yellow, and the output is gonna be in red. That's better. So you see that the actual volume shaping is happening, and I can split them. So this way, at the bottom I have the input, and at the top I have the output. So I see quite nicely how it works. You can diminish the zoom or increase it. Oh, that's no, I'm on the sine shade. There we go. And now I can activate the live envelope. So you see here my live envelope is exactly on top of my drawing. But if I change the phase, you see that my envelope is actually not aligned anymore with the envelope. Let's hide the envelope itself. So what you see is that my envelope is changing its place. Now if I smooth up, then I'm gonna cut a little bit these points to have them less clicky. And oppositely, if I smooth down, I'm gonna change this release there. Usually, depending on the material, just one is enough to avoid clicking. And let's get back to 0. So now I'm gonna freeze everything and say that these 2 points there, I'm not happy with them. So let's say that I'm gonna add only this shape, simple one. So lock to current shape. I'm unlocking the levels, and let's just press randomize. Yeah, oh yeah, I need to show the envelope because it's there's a delay. I mean, the envelope actual live shape is drawn once every cycle. So if you want to see the actual drawing, it's better to use the drawn envelope. Let's try again. Okay, let's say I'm not happy with that. I'm gonna use any kind of shape and do the same. Okay, this one is nice. Let's just randomize the last one. Let's freeze all and only unfreeze this one. It's a bit hard, this one. Or maybe not. Let's have a try at something else. Yeah, that's better. And let's add only the foundation of our track with it. It's pretty nice, huh? Well, let's have a look at another track now. So as I showed you, let's close this one. As I showed you, this one is a nice big analog like sound, which is actually sent through the delay. Let's change the width here so we see better. Oh yeah, of course, I need to activate it. Yeah, there we go. So you see the shape which has been drawn there. It's quantized to 1, it means 0 or 1 only. There's nothing fancy, volume shaping is full, there's no mod shaping occurring. Let's have a listen with the foundation, well, only on its own first. And with the foundation. And let's add the serum. Nice, huh? Let's have a look at this one. So this one is a bit weirder because we have a loop, which we have a bass line, and I'm actually shaping it, but on 1.5 bars, which means that I'm gonna be like syncopating the bass shape with my gate. Let's have a listen first without. So it's a 1 bar loop. And let's activate BaGate. So we can do something a bit more clever here. Let's add another level. Let's lock the shapes and only change levels. Maybe a little bit more subtlety, like that. With the foundation. Okay, maybe a little bit less convincing on this one. I probably can do better. This one is a squelsh, if I remember well. Let's solo it. Yeah. So again, the squelsh is basically filter and pitch control, and the LFO, which is controlling both, is itself controlled by chaos. So it's sometimes a little bit faster, sometimes slower. But of course, this is too hard. I mean, it's too present. It's too in your face. Especially if you add the sense. So gating it is something which is quite used in full-on tracks. So we can have a listen. So we have a 64, so it's a big one. For which I mean I haven't drawn this one. I actually created a 16 one or maybe a 32 one random and just duplicated using the using these times 2, which is there. So it's a 4 bars loop now. But it was initially a 2 bars. Let's have a listen. Okay, cool. So again with our foundation. It's actually random, but not completely random. As you know, I like doing controlled randomness. This is mostly the appropriate term, which matches with most of my devices and plugins. So now let's see the last one. This one is, yeah, a sample and hold. So I've done quite much the same as for the squelch. So it's a 64 steps shape, 4 bars long, and it's mostly regular simple gates. Yeah, I need to, of course, activate it. So it's simple gates. Oh, by the way, you can redimension the window as thin feet if you want to have better view. Usually this view is quite nice because it's pretty wide, but the level is, it's not taking the full screen. I have a pretty big screen, so that's of course up to me. But you can do it. You can go quite small if you need to, and quite big again. But on my screen, at least, I got a pretty old computer, so if I put that window too big, then it's gonna lag a little bit and I don't want to do that, especially that I'm recording the screen at the same time, which doesn't help. Let's have a listen at this thing. Okay, let's just do one thing just to show you what I've done, how I do that. So let's change the shape and lock the levels, and then press randomize. Oh, yeah, probably some elements were frozen. No, so you see what I've just done. As my levels were locked, and I was only using current shape, I actually changed shape for all of my steps without changing anything else. We can do that on another one. Let's do it again. Yeah, it's a bit slow because there are many steps. I think it can go up to 100 and, yeah, press twice. I think it can go up to 128 steps, so you're pretty cool. Can try again. It was just for the sake of showing you how it works. There we go. And let's get back to what I wanted initially, this one. There we go. So let's just press play. That's something a little bit clever. I just wanted to insist on that. If I use any shape, you're gonna see that, yes, there are some triplets, there are some false and weird stuff, but all the shapes don't have the same probability of occurrence in my plugins, because I know that these shapes are usually the one you want more than these ones, and these ones should be occurring a little bit less, and this one even less, and the reversed one starting from the bottom and going upward are usually a bit less used, so the probabilities of them are not the same. So you're gonna end up usually with a few triplets or 4 times sequences in your sequence, because it would be quite messy if there was too many triplets, like this one, for example. Let's try. Let's try again. Okay, I'm not happy with some of them. Let's say I want to respawn these ones, and that's it for now. Okay, no. Yeah, better. Yeah, and freeze everything. I'm gonna unfreeze this one with the thing in the middle. Let's increase the size a little bit so we see better the shapes that we do have. Yeah, this one, why not? Definitely. Okay, so this one and this one. Yeah. Okay, let's freeze all and unfreeze using Alt. This this ones because it's quite empty. So I just pressed Alt on hovering on this. Boop. Did I do something? Oh, level is 0 because my levels are frozen. Yeah, let's unlock the levels. There we go. Yeah, but I like my sequence to start from there, so I'm gonna use shift. So it's gonna shift everything to the right. You can either do that with using the phase, but it's better when visually to know where your sequence is starting, and maybe a little more like this. Not the best sequence I could use. Let's freeze everything and do the second side, the second part again. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit messy, but let's try with everything at the same time. So we're gonna have 5 gated sequences at the same time, so be ready. Cool. It's pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of work still, but at least you don't need to draw these shapes. I mean, I've tried that using, envelope shapers and things like that, and drawing these things manually is just a nightmare. Which, probably people go to purgatory or maybe hell, and this is what they have to do, is draw shapes manually. So, at least for me, it's not what I want to do. So in that case, it's better not to do that. And there we go. Hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you have any question, and feel free to reach out if you do, and head to my Gumroad or to Soundirective if you want to get the device. And in the meantime, happy production.